We've got to get the people out of our prison systems who don't belong there. That's 70% or more that do not belong there. And states like Texas, states like Louisiana, who the federal government gave money to improve the conditions in the prisons and to install air conditionings in those incredibly hot states, hot southern states. What happened to the money? Where'd it go? The sheriffs run the jails and they spent the money on something else. My guess, more deputies, more cars to collect more revenue without spending the money on the jails for air conditioning. The state of Texas has done the same thing. The state of Texas, even the state legislature, allocated $1.2 billion for air conditionings in the prison systems, and they were never installed. Where'd the money go? It's going into corrupt politicians' pockets, corrupt wardens' pockets, corrupt management pockets. This stuff's got to be changed. I know the women's prison in Texas was condemned. It used to be a men's prison, and the state came in and condemned it for the conditions. They did very little change, and they just reopened it as a women's prison. And they stuck the women in an outdated, understaffed, undermaintained buildings, multiple buildings. And it holds about 1,600 women.
Hey, David, I got a question about that, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Like if I was like on a boat and let's say I got injured on that boat, like the captain was driving too fast and he hit a wave and I knocked my head and got really injured. There's processes I could do. I can make claims that captain was responsible. And ultimately, I could win his boat. So I could own his boat through a foreclosure, through a seizure with the marshal or something like that. What if we all got together and because I think all of us know at least or have at least one family member who's been incarcerated at some point for something absolutely arbitrary and stupid. I've got a neighbor who got sent to Leavenworth for some, absolute BS, came out with multiple sclerosis, sepsis, and he's just not the same man anymore. Is there any, let's say, process or thing that we could start doing, like a foreclosure, to foreclose on these prisons? Like, is there really anything stopping us from doing that? Because they can foreclose on our homes. Can't we foreclose on theirs?
Well, these prisons are corporations. They hide behind the LLCs of the corporations.
Right.
They're backed by government funds. The government's a corporation. Writs of quo warranto can dissolve a corporation, and with a writ of mandamus, that can force them to do it. Now, obviously, that's got to go to probably the Supreme Court of the United States after you've exhausted the state resources, which means you got to take it to the state Supreme Court first.
What about maybe adverse possession, since they're there and they're
well, sure,
9/10 of the law,
yeah.
or possession is 9/10 of the law, so they technically own that property. Yeah, because I'm really trying to put a kink in their armor and think differently, because it just seems like if they can do it, we can do it. And they're taking so many homes from Americans right now, because what happens when those brothers and sisters of ours go away for traffic tickets, or go away because the Walmart scanner didn't work, or go away for, just mouthing off to a police officer, or, doing something absolutely stupid but harming nobody. Okay. Those fellow Americans, they lose their home because they don't make their mortgage payment. They lose their job because they don't show up for work. And there's no thought of those things. And this is where they house their lives. So they live in these institutions. These corporations live there. And basically, again, when we go with God's law, right, we're allowed to stop murder from happening. And when somebody takes your livelihood away, by definition, that is attempted murder, right? If somebody takes away the way that you make money, if somebody takes away the way that you feed your family, that you survive, that you take care of your children, they're trying to murder you. And you have every right to defend yourself, every right to stop it. And when they're stealing your house, your property, your family, your livelihood, how do we defend against this? And is there any things that we can do? Let's say maybe federally with the federal marshals. Can we do some kind of writs there, federal writs? There has to be more we can do, David.
I'm sure there is, but we got to unite as a people. And if we can't get 100 people willing to risk themselves to join as a plaintiff and go in as hundreds of plaintiffs, that's where we have the power. We have the power when we can increase the number of plaintiffs on a case. One man doing it is next to impossible. They'll find ways just to throw it out.
Gotcha.
To make you miss a time frame, to do whatever.
Well, their administrative process is just whatever they decide to do.
They claim qualified immunity, even though they have none when they violate people's rights. They claim it anyway. Sure. And it's a hard process to fight these district magistrates, judges at the federal level who are protecting the entire system of the DOJ and the prison system. They're protecting that because they're bar members. And so they're protecting the very thing that we, the people, believe is corrupt.
We the people do believe